Hi, I'm Bill Porter,
I'm Arlene Porter.
and we've been out here since 1955. It started, our neighbors in Calgary, Mom and Dad's neighbors, Frank Whiteside, who was the chief of detectives at the time, and their son Harv and the twin daughters. And so they used to come out. There was a group of 4 of them on the east side, where you'd have to drive down the highway and then come back in through the farmer's field to get to it. And they had cabins, and they had closing to the lake, opening to the lake, parties, kegs. It was quite funny. Anyway, we were invited a few times, and we'd come out and water ski back then. We had 25 horsepower motor, but we weren't as big at that time, or as heavy. So we were at one of the parties at the opening, and Dad really liked it. We liked it, so we said, well, maybe we should get a place. So they said, the one fellow, the barber from Strathmore, he said, well, Slim, they called my dad Slim because he was only 300 pounds. Anyway, they said, we have a lot across the lake over there. We'll jump in the boat and I'll show you. So back then there was nothing on the east side except the farm. So we came, he said, it's right in here somewhere. And it's all weed and bulrush and everything else. And so they'd had a few beers and everything else, I guess. And I said to Dad, Dad, that'd be neat. Can we get a place? You know, can we do something? So Sweet made a deal with him and said, okay, back taxes and a bottle of whiskey. It was about $40. So Dad said, okay, we'll do that. So they transferred the lease at that time. It was a 5-year lease, of course.
And what address was that at the time?
That was our first place, which was next to Jim Taylor. Across Fiona and Ken from the auto body built that home on our property there. Right next to Jim Taylor's big place.
Right, okay.
On the south side.
On the south side.
So of course Jim's wasn't there. There was a cabin,
Right.
Orly Brinker's cabin was on the other side where Jim Taylor's. And so they were out there, and there was a group of people over on this side, about 3 I think, and then of course the farm. And the people that owned the farm, their daughter, the Snyders, lived a couple doors down from us in Calgary. So we used to come out to their place quite often, and that's actually where Arlene and they had a place called the Chicken Coop. And we were out at a party one night, and Arlene and I had met in high school, of course, and we came out, and that's when I suggested that we should get married.
Oh, isn't that neat?
The Chicken Coop at Chestermere, we got engaged.
So you met, you went to high school together, but you met again out here, is that?
No, we were in high school.
Yeah.
We started dating in high school, and then we were at a party down at the Chicken Coop.
Chicken Coop.
And that's, we thought, oh, we should get married. You know, I mean, in those days,
Yeah.
if you weren't married by you're 21, then you were an old maid or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're 18, 19, so
Yeah.
we're celebrating our 57th wedding anniversary next month.
Isn't that
So the barber was the Woodliffs from Strathmore.
Woodliff, Strathmore.
Right.
So there was Whiteside, Woodliff, and Sweet.
Right, and that was our connection too.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Your story, not ours.
So, no, that's great. So anyway, they ended up, we bought this lot, and then we kind of perimeters, there was a dirt road going down through it, and it didn't go through on the other side of the farm, of course. So we found the boundaries, and we staked it out a little bit, and then we put a retaining wall in where the property was, and then everybody would be out picking weeds and everything out of the water. And we built a dock. And then we built a shed over the dock and a boathouse, which is still there.
Really?
Yeah. And so Dad and I used to come out, and we had an old Coleman lantern, and we had a table that went up against the wall and the window, and built over the dock, 6-foot wide dock. And we'd spend nights out there.
And do you know what number that is now? Like on West Chestermere Drive?
That's south of Jim's, right?
It's the one right south, yeah. Ken and
Just next door.
Right
to,
next
to
door.
Jim's, to the 500. So they're 500.
they're 500, yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
that would be 5 something. I mean, that's a long
Yes,
time
that's
ago.
okay. No,
We
right
didn't
now
have
we're
numbers
500.
then.
Just so we can place it a bit for anybody
If you
watching.
came right down Merganser, you ran into
Hughes.
Hughes. Thank you.
Was
Yes.
Hughie Adams.
No,
Adams.
that was the that was the access to the lake at that
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
That's Hugh Adams. I said
Hugh Adams,
Yeah,
Hugh and
yeah,
Sylvia
yeah.
Adams.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there was two more, and then our place was there.
Okay.
And
Good.
all the big spruce trees and everything.
Yeah.
When we planted those, I said, we'll never see those grow up in our lifetime. Well,
Now they're 60 feet tall.
yeah, they are. Anyway, so
Okay, well, that's great.
we bought and built that and started clearing, and then we found out that the property actually went way back. And everybody kept coming by. It was only about 50 feet from the cabin, this road, and we found our property went way back to where the road is now. So we fenced it. So everybody come down and they'd hit the fence and they'd have to go around it. So then Rocky View finally got the idea, and so they put a road in because it started getting more and more people up at that time. And there wasn't many of us at that time. There'd be
I'm assuming that was a gravel road or just a dirt road.
just a dirt road, yeah, basically a dirt road. And then they made a road, which was still just an old gravel road.
Yeah.
And so we came down Merganser, and then we were right on the gravel road there. So then we eventually built a cabin, which you got a picture there of the old cabin. And we had a lot of fun.
That's the little turquoise.
Yeah.
Picture of the little turquoise.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
No, the turquoise one, no, it's the
no,
red
it is,
one.
honey.
Red one? Oh, sorry.
Well, it was red with a turquoise.
Oh, turquoise
Roof.
roof. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Red with a turquoise roof, right?
Yeah. So we had a lot of fun with that, and then unfortunately,
That's right.
my father passed away, and we were married, and we said, well, maybe we can buy the property or do something. And then the properties had started going up because, you know, we got titles at that time.
Yes.
And so we built on top of that, we built that house in 70, no, this was before, pardon me.
No, it's 60s.
Yeah, we built it in the 70s. We came back to Vancouver 71.
Oh, okay.
So Dad passed away in 72. We bought the property and we built a house, even though you're not supposed to be there. And of course, you couldn't get mortgaging or anything because it was a leased land. And that's when everything started transpiring around. That so before that, we were there, and that's when we used to got together with Stonehams and Giroux and a bunch of the group that lived in acreages around the school at Indus and everything like that for hockey.
Oh, okay.
So we go to the hall, flood the rinks, the outdoor rinks, and so I coached hockey all through Rays, and then of course Jimmy was a 1-year-old when he came out, and then we coached all through him, and I've got plaques there for 6 years of Pee Wee and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So, and then they built the arena long after, of course. But we had the old dance hall,
Yeah.
and Mom and Dad used to come out years and years ago. As Arlene was talking about Mom working at Ellis's farm.
And that was
Serve-
Mabel.
Mabel.
Yeah,
Right, Mabel.
yeah. And she used to serve food to the ranch hands and everything else, and then they'd go to the old hall. Penley ran it, and they had 5-cent dances.
Right.
Jitney dances.
Jitney
Yeah.
dances, yeah.
So I mean, it goes way back like that. So actually, I guess the Porter family been here since the late 40s. I guess it would
Wow.
be somewhere in there. So.
Yeah. And where was that? So Mabel lived in Calgary and then came out? Or
Yeah,
did
Mom,
they have-
Dad passed away, so we built the house,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mom was in an apartment and she didn't like it, so we built the second place. Then yeah, we sold that one and we built the one across the way, 749.
Right, yes.
The big high roof.
Yes,
the
and the
there.
windows,
Yeah.
yes. Down, that would be, yeah, on East Chestermere Drive,
Yep,
right?
yep.
749, yeah.
Yeah, so we built that one, and then moved Mum out with us, and she was
Okay.
18 years with us.
Oh,
And when we opened the store and everything, she used to make the sub sandwiches and.
Oh,
and all
right,
that
I
type of
remember
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Till the health department said, no, you have to put the ingredients in and label them and put an expiration date. Kids from the high school have been coming over here buying it for
Hobies.
2 years.
They called them hobies
Oh, yeah,
back then, right?
hobies,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hobo sandwiches.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, went from there. So when we were living here before it was our own, we were still under Rockview and paying lease. You could only live according to the rules 120 days. So we all worked at the Cabin Owners Association, which I became president of, and there was a bunch of good people on it, and Von Smith and Richardson and Jim Taylor and a bunch of people. Anyway, we went to the WID, as you know, we used to have troubles with them for a long time. They wouldn't have the water raised or lowered or do whatever. And said that if we could buy it. So they agreed that we could buy it for $1.7 million, $1.2 million or $1.7 million. Anyway, we'll have to find out. I can't remember.
I think it was 1.5.
No, it was 2 or 7. I think it was 7 because I signed the check.
1.7, okay.
Yeah, it was the only
It wasn't
time.
up, it wasn't over 2, I think it was
No,
1 point something.
1.7.
I remember from the play, because we had it in the play and we got it out of the history
Yeah.
book, so.
So we were all in agreement. We made the deal and everything else, and then they wouldn't do it. The government decided not to get involved and to do it, and then when they came back, they were going to give a 99-year lease. Excuse me, I got to go back. I made a mistake. The government was going to give 99-year leases to us. So we negotiated that, then the government dropped out, so we had to negotiate with the Western Irrigation District, so they agreed to sell it. But they'd only sell it to one entity, not 345 lots. So that's when we all got together and on the phone and phoned everybody. We got a breakdown by lot, how much it would be. I think the cheapest one was $2,800 and the most expensive was $4,800 at the time. So we phoned everybody and gave them a price, what their lot was and how much money they owed. And said we're going to have a meeting at the old hall, at that time we're still there. And if you want to purchase, then come to the meeting. So they came and we raised $780,000 that night.
Wow.
So we had to phone the police, the RCMP, and say, we've got all these checks and we have to get to a bank somehow or do something with it. So they took it and then escorted us to the bank the next day. So we ended up buying it, and then we had all the documentation we had to get done.
Yes.
And Vince O'Connor was the lawyer at the time.
Right.
And he was on the cabin owners and then on the co-op that we formed on the co-op. And him and I had to sign every document, so if my signature became a scribble, that's 20 documents per lot type of thing to do it.
Wow.
20.
Yeah, it was quite a thing, and his secretary,
And how many lots would there have been at that time?
345 I think.
300 and some, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because they'd opened up the 5th area. Anyway, Noelle was his secretary, and she lives out here, Barry Wakeford.
Noel Duffy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
she eventually married Barry. And
Barry
lived out
Wakeford,
here.
yes.
So she did all the documentation, because she was Vince's secretary at the law office.
Oh, how things.
So anyway, it kept going around and around, and then we decided we didn't want to pay Rocky-View, because they weren't doing anything. And we wanted to form our own government. So that's where it all started. And then Vince and I went up to see Bill Isbister, who was the Minister of Municipal Affairs at that time. And he said, okay, let's look at it. So we did, and then we drew out a diagram, an area where we thought should be. So we went over to Lake Eyre, to that road, and then back over and down to the railroad track. And Rockview wasn't very happy about it, so they complained they wouldn't sign the deal off. So they said, you can do it finally, because Isbister forced them in, basically, and said, this is your boundary. East Chestermere Drive, West Chestermere Drive, and that was the formation of the summer village of Chestermere Lake. And as you can see in those pictures, then we've got, well, that's after. So anyway, we formed that and became our own entity. Then I made a deal with Tony Horlacker, who owned the land where all of the stuff is. And
He owned where the emergency services and the old town hall were? Is
no,
that-
the Chestermere Cabin Association owned it.
Owned that? Oh, okay.
So he owned the land behind. So I went to him and said, we'll trade you where the old fire truck and the old original, and you give us this land over here. And he owned so much of it, and then it was all, it wasn't owned by anyone, it was owned by actually the city or the town. Summer Village ended up owning it in the title. So Tony owned from the road to about the end of where Porter's store, and then the rest was all common area for the. So we traded him for those lots.
Okay,
And
and that's
then-
how he ended up being on the lake.
Yeah, yeah. So then 72 is when he was on, so he was before we did all of this. And he was through Rockview. So anyway, then we put, Jim Taylor donated the trailer that was on his lot when he built his big house. And that was our first office. Well, it was our second office actually. We rented space in the northeast in the industrial area.
Oh, really?
And Rockview, or the government provided a fellow as an administrator to help us get started. So we had to do all the bylaws and form a whole government basically. So we would go in there and we'd meet and go over everything. That was after the election, of course. That was myself, Len Pals, and Wayne Wood. And then we put the trailer, and we moved from in town to the trailer. And then we had it all set up, so.
That's a big initiative.
It was a huge
When you
initiative.
think about that,
lot of
reflecting
work.
back on it, yeah.
And then we went back and they said, well, you guys should get paid something. So they paid us $25 a meeting. So we had 2 meetings a month.
Wow.
And we did a lot of work. Yeah, it was a lot of work. And then we decided, well, we own all this land and the trailer's not going to, we used it for the year, and then, so why don't we build something? Because we sold the 2 lots that it only makes sense. We got the 2 lots that the Summer Village now owns, where Hughes is, and Hill, Sylvia and Huey on the other side, they bought them. So we said, we'll sell those lots and we'll build a building. So we did.
Right.
We
So
sold
those were the lots that were the right of way of the road
Right.
that would have, if the
Had the bands
highway,
gone straight through.
if the highway went straight through the lake, there were those 2 lots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's so people know where those lots are when you're talking about
Yeah.
it. It's where
So-
Merganser
Yep.
butts up
Butts
to
up
the lake.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
closed those and got all the work done so that we could sell them. And we sold them. By now, of course, everybody's buying lots and properties and everything else. And I think we sold them for $60,000 a lot. So Hughes bought the one and Adams bought the other. And then we...
Was that Len Hughes, was it, or was it Al?
Alan.
Alan.
Yeah. On your side over there.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
mess is.
Yeah.
So then Harburn,
Yeah, Herbie, yeah.
Yes.
Herbie, was golf. And Herbie was the one that did the drawings for our store when we first opened the store. So that's another story on the store. And
But he designed the building for
He
the,
designed the building. Len Hughes was Olson
Contractor,
White
yeah.
Construction,
Yeah.
the Hughes
Yeah.
boys. And Len is down just past the stop sign, third house in or whatever.
yeah.
It's still
Yes, it's still there. Yeah, their house is
And,
still there. They
there.
still
So
live
anyway,
there.
we designed it. We had some cash. We had this money. They designed it. We went all through it all. Len Hughes looked after it, built it, and then you can see all the other pictures
Yes,
there of the
yeah.
opening. His mister came down with the
Oh,
and
okay.
unveiled the plaque, and
Yeah.
the 3 counselors, myself and Len and Wayne, showed the opening the doors and going in, and the council chambers and everything else, and from there that was history, as everybody kept changing.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were living here in hockey, coaching hockey and driving all over the place, and there was no amenities. You know, Tony built then he had a little store, but he never really had it open or did anything. He was more interested in the bar. So I remember driving one time, I said, Arlene, we're going out for hockey at the Indus, and I'm looking at, came home from work, and I'm looking, we're going to get to the, and we don't have any gas. We don't have enough gas to go to Indus and back. So we're going to whip into town and get gas and then drive all the way back. And so we're sitting around one day, and I said, you know, if we run into this problem, you got to drive to Calgary for milk or eggs or
Yes.
whatever you needed, and gas and everything. If you didn't plan everything just right, I'm sure there's a lot of people. At that time, there was 400 people
Right.
in Chestermere, and we said, "I'm going to build a store."
And that's the late 70s, right?
Late 70s.
Let me
yeah.
see. Okay, just so
Yeah.
we can put it in context.
Yeah, built a store in 80,
83, 82.
opened in 82. Yeah,
Yeah.
with Madge, you know, Ann Madge and
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starcraft Construction. Him and I became really good buddies, and So he said, I'll build that for you. So we said, okay, let's get at it, we'll see what we can do. So that started that. And that was back in the day when everybody was giving coupons for gas, and Richardson had rent right gas stations, and everybody was competing. And we know closed down, and the guy that used to work there, we had to come over.
Right, we know, right?
Yeah, right. And then, so you had to pump gas, because nobody did their own, you know, that was
No,
expected.
no, yeah.
And it was quite a time during the time, so. We got pictures of the old original store that we opened.
And you were Petro-Canada to start?
No, golf.
Golf. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, went to golf, and then then Petro-Canada,
Right,
and then Esso.
yeah.
But we owned the property in the building, so we made deals with them, and
Yes.
saw that all worked out. So I guess then we just kept going. We'd open 6. I'd go to town at 5:30 in the morning to the bakery, buy donuts, and we'd put coffee. We had a couple of tables by the window,
Yeah,
so people come here and say, "Well, a lot of people like that. Maybe we should." We had one rack of cards, greeting cards, and well, nobody bought all that stuff, you know. So we took all that out, put the little restaurant in.
yes.
The little bar, and that filled up, and then we put tables in,
And then you had Chinese
and
food.
then we opened, and we
People
built
sat
the
on
other
pop cases.
pop cases, yeah, and everything else. And so then they were going to, you know, everything was expanding, so the entrepreneurism in me came out, and I said, well, gee, maybe we should add on and build a hotel, or no, I said we should have a liquor store. So you need liquor. So I went to the Alberta government and I said, what would I have to do to get an off-sale license of liquor? And they, well, you have to be a hotel. And I said, okay. What constitutes a hotel? He said, population. I said, well, Chestermere is about 700 now, I think, or whatever it was. And he said, oh, you'd need 4 rooms. So, okay. Then I can build, or I can have off-sales liquor and everything else. So that's when we added on. We built a hotel, Porter1 Port Inn. And we had the 4 rooms up top in the office and rented out the bottom. And that's when that Somatic came and opened
Yes.
up Denta's office, who everybody knows his son and them now.
Post office.
And
And
we
the
had the
post
post
office.
office. And the restaurant, we expanded and had Chinese and pizza, takeout and gas, and it was a good time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And our kids still remember, oh, what we did. What did we do? Oh, we'd ride our bike to Porter's store.
Yeah,
Porter store.
You know,
I still call it Porter store.
Porter store.
yeah, yeah. A lot of people still.
Yeah.
Porter store.
Porter tour.
Yeah.
Our daughter was like, she goes, Porter tour. Right?
Porter tour.
But she was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
yeah.
So just for people who may not know, Porter Stores was across from the landing, so
Yes.
it's on East Chestermere
Drive.
Drive and Chestermere Boulevard. I guess that would be
Yeah.
just close to
Yeah,
the bridge area
And there's
on
still
the,
a
on
gas
the east
station
side.
there,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
still a gas
Yeah.
station, but just so
Yeah.
you know, if people are looking at this 30 years from now, they might not know where.
Where it is.
Yeah.
Where it was.
Yeah, because things change. Yeah.
oh, everything, yeah.
And
Yeah.
the bricks from the building have been saved.
Oh.
And they're going to be part of the piece of public art that we have commissioned,
Oh, nice.
which will have the 2 brass plaques
Yeah,
that the city gave us,
Yeah, we
plus
have
the
the-
bricks.
we had the
Yeah.
first one that Isbester did, and then when
The village.
Elaine Peak was, when
Yeah.
we went to the town. she
Yes,
was
the village and the town plaques were given to the Historical Foundation.
Yeah.
So we're going to build a piece of public art, which will probably be at the corner of Rainbow Road and Chestermere Boulevard. There's a storm pond
Yeah.
that has a walkway around it, and it will be in that area.
Nice, nice.
So we're having it built, but we have a commission out to have this done. So we
Okay.
haven't had a lot of, but we're going to get it done. So
Yeah.
we've got money set aside
Oh,
to do
great.
that.
Good, that's good.
So
Yeah.
that'll be, and then a plaque will also be on it to say some of the history of the town,
Yeah.
the summer village.
Well, then, when do they, I can't even remember now, when do they open the, I keep calling it a cauldron, the, by Webster's there?
We call it that.
Oh,
History
the
thing,
Founder's Point,
Yeah.
Founders.
Karen.
the
Yeah.
cairn.
Carol.
Oh, it's going to be 50 years from when they put it up, which I'd have to go get the book out to look.
So it is 50 years.
It is 50
Okay,
years.
I wasn't quite sure.
So I think we'll be lucky if we're around, I think, because I think that's,
Well,
we'll be really
I
lucky.
hope you are. I kind of doubt us
I
at
think it was
75.
what
Well,
was
we're-
the anniversary though that it was built? Was it the 25th anniversary that
I think
Founder's
so.
Point?
You know, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
so that
either.
would
I
be,
know we were all
and I
there.
can never remember whether it was the